Hey everyone, it's Jenny from Homestead Corner. Today I've got a few tips I wish I had known when I started prepping. So we have been prepping for years and years, and honestly, we've made all kinds of mistakes. When we first started, we didn't know what we were doing. We just wanted to get prepared, and we jumped in head first and went all hog wild on the whole situation. We bought things didn't need to buy. We did a whole bunch of things we probably shouldn't have done, but we were just so excited to get started. And I know that happens with a lot of people. And I was talking with one of my friends the other day and we were just talking about some of the things we wish we knew back then. And so I thought that, I'd make a little list of things I wish that I would have known, and mistakes that I have made, mistakes that friends I know have made, and things I've seen on the internet and stuff of mistakes people have made. It's just, we all make mistakes. No one's perfect, and the quicker you can get it fixed up, the better you're going to be. So let's jump into it. One of the first mistakes we made was not storing enough water. You would be surprised. You won't even believe how fast you go through water. And, not just having tons of bottled water on hand, or, learn how to collect water. You want to collect it. You want to know how to do that and stuff. You want to be able to continue to get more of a supply. Find a local water source, have the ability to filter water, all that stuff. Just, you would not believe how much water you go through. When the power is out for weeks on end, you go through a lot of water. And so make sure that you have plenty of water stored, or at least have the ability to filter water and have a way to get water. The next thing is, don't put all your preps in one place. Having all your stuff in one place raises your chance of losing everything. If you only have one cabinet that you keep, or one closet that you keep everything in, or a specific room, if somebody breaks in or anything like that, your house gets looted or burglarized, you could possibly lose everything you've worked so hard for. You want to break that stuff up and have it in multiple locations. If you can have some at a different location, and I know not everybody can do that, but if you can, that is the best option, because if you have two different locations, that is absolutely wonderful. And even in two different locations, if you've got food under the bed, in the closet, inside the couch, tucked up in the attic, in the basement, if you've got it in all different kinds of places, then if someone breaks in and finds one stash, you're not going to lose everything. You've still got that chance, and you've got a better chance. If they think they found it all, then they're going to move on. They're not going to dig through a bunch of stuff that they don't think is useful if they don't think it's there. So having it in different locations is going to increase your chances of making sure, if anything like that does happen and someone breaks in, you're still going to have stuff to rely on. You may have, some of your food here and some of your food there, and that's a great way to do it. I think the more broken up you can have it, the better. The next one, there's a lot more to prepping than just stocking up on everything you can get your hands on. Skills, 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 skills. I cannot stress that enough. Buy those seeds and learn how to plant them. Learn how to grow food. Learn how to filter water. You need to know how to do the stuff as well as having the items. If you've got a shovel and 25,000 seeds, but you don't have any clue what to do with them or how to amend soil, learn about it. Take the time, research it, put it into action. You want to be able to learn skills and put those skills into action, because figuring out later on down the road that you don't really know how to do it, or you're not quite sure how it was supposed to be done, could be life and death. You know, put those skills into action and learn. Another one is buy what you eat and eat what you buy. I don't think you should buy a bunch of stuff that you don't like just because it's cheap to have it on the shelf or because it lasts a long time. I mean, rice and beans are basically a staple, or pasta, something like that. But if you really have a difficult time choking it down, you don't want to have that stuff. You want to be able to rotate your food and constantly go through it. That way, nothing's going to go bad. Your hard work is going to pay off, whether there is a long-term emergency or not. If you've got 5 years worth of rice and beans and pasta and whatever, stashed away somewhere, you want to be eating at that stuff and then rotate it, put the new stuff in the back. Just because you ate a pound of rice in a month doesn't mean you have to buy rice next month. Use a little bit of it and then get more. You don't want to run out. You want to stay ahead of the game. You want to have plenty, but you want to keep that food moving. And that way you're not going to lose it and you're not wasting your time and money. And another one from my experience is make sure you're using sturdy shelves to store your supplies on. If you are using an old cheapo bookcase or some kind of flimsy plastic stand and you're putting heavy duty stuff on it, they collapse, they fall over, the shelves snap, stuff happens. Especially, you start putting canned food on a shelf, you want nice, sturdy shelving. If you're packing it into shelves, make sure that, spend the extra dollars. It's worth it in the long run. You want good, sturdy shelving and storage options, whatever you're using. You want it to be sturdy and you want it to last. You don't want to have to keep doing it, and you don't want to take the chance. If you've home canned 400 jars of food and you put it on a plastic shelf, I can't tell you how many times I have seen pictures, and I have done it myself. Shelves bow, they collapse, they break, shelves will completely fall over. Those plastic shelves are no good for heavy items. Spend the extra money and definitely invest in some good shelving if you're using shelving. That's a big one. As soon as you decide to start prepping, I think it's a great idea to start living below your means. We've all lived, most of us have lived to the fullest that we can live. We want to live well, we want to have things, we want to have nice things. But when you start prepping and you're preparing for those emergencies, it's good to start stepping back a little bit, to take, cut those bills. How are you going to take extra money for your prepping supplies? And, if you need to buy a generator or whatever it is that you need to buy, you don't want to be stacking that stuff on credit cards. You want to be able to save up the money and purchase it with money that you've saved. So if you cut down on cable, or maybe, you go to having 2 meatless nights a week to save money that way, or whatever it is that you can do. We all have little things we can cut back on. Maybe you only stop at Starbucks twice a week instead of 5 times a week. There are just so many different ways that we can cut back and, save that money and get the things we need by living a little bit below our means, and we can still live a very good life. And after you get going and things start really piling up, especially with your food, when you start buying it in bulk and things like that, over time, you are saving tons of money. And I only go meat shopping once every 2 or 3 months. We don't buy meat that often because we have a good supply of it, and I don't have to go all the time. And when I do go, when there's a sale, I will buy a ton because I'm saving money. And I've got the money there. I'm not spending it every week. So it's just kind of sitting, and then when that sale hits, bam, I can go buy 50 pounds of something. And that's a great way. It's going to save you money in the long run, and it's going to allow you to get more things. The next tip, don't blow all your money at once. When you first start prepping, we all get excited. Everyone gets excited. I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy 100 pounds of this, 50 pounds of that, and I am going to stock up. Yes, it's great to stock up, but don't spend all your money at once. If you've got X amount of dollars, stock up on, pick one thing to really stock up on. Don't spend it all at once, because next week or the week after, you might realize that you don't need that item, because you can make do with something you already have. Let's say, you wanted a special kind of flashlight with a NOAA radio and, hand crank, solar, all that stuff. And the one you want is $150. Well, in next week or the week after, it might be on sale for $100. So you could save yourself 50 bucks just by waiting a little bit, or look around. You might be able to get something that is just as good and good quality that's not quite as expensive. Or you may find another area that is more important to put your money. So I don't think spending it all in one place right in the beginning is a great idea. Always reserve a little bit for later. You never know when that big bargain is going to pop up in front of you. The next one, don't go it alone. If you are living in a home with, your family or whatever, talk to the people in your house. If you start prepping by yourself and everybody's not on board, it's extremely, extremely difficult to continue. It's a great way to go. I think everybody should prep for emergencies, but if people in your family and in your home are not on board, they can make it almost impossible to stay ahead of the game. So talk to them, the best you can. Try to get them involved in it. Try to get them on board. Use what's going to work for you. Talk to them about, an emergency that might be something that they're concerned about. What do they think might happen? Try and just work it in there however you can. Going it alone can be so difficult. And, especially if there's 5 people in your house and you're the only one that's got their mind on prepping, it's going to be so difficult if other people are dipping into your stash and things like that. They don't understand. Getting them on board is really going to help you and make things go smoother and better for everyone. The next one is don't tell anyone about your preps. Put them away. Keep it to yourself. It makes you a target when you tell people. I see a lot of stuff in canning groups and things like that. And I see lots of pictures online, and everybody's proud of their food that they put up. And I think that's wonderful. But I've seen a lot of stuff, and if someone that knows who you are sees that, it could really, really make it difficult for you. You don't want to share all that information with everyone. It's great that you can. It's great that, you're putting stuff up. That is absolutely wonderful. And maybe you do have someone really close to you that you can share it with that is also like-minded. Maybe you have that best friend that you bounce ideas off. That's okay to share it with them, but don't share it with everybody. Everybody does not need to know what you have. It will make you a target. The next one, and I did not do this in the beginning, and I should have, but have a get home plan. Emergencies don't wait for you to get home. Sometimes when you're out doing something, you can have an emergency, a flat tire, the engine could blow up on your car, there could be a car wreck. There's so many things that can happen. You need to have a backup plan to get home. Those emergency plans are really important. We keep a get home bag in the car now. I haven't always done that. And I was thinking the other day, I was like, wow. Now I can't believe when I was younger, because when you're 20, you do a little bit of crazy stuff. But, my friends are like, hey, we want to move to Florida. You want to drive us? Sure, let's go. 3 o'clock in the morning, off we went. off to Florida. I didn't even think twice about it, We just, oh, sure, let's do it. They paid all the expenses down and back. I drove my car. A couple of my other friends went. We had a great time. It was fun. But, we had no backup plan. We didn't even have a thought that something could happen. Thank goodness everything went well. We had a good time. But there are those times that everything doesn't go well. Having that emergency bag in the car just in case is so important, and now if something happened, if I was to, I don't think I would today, but I might jump in the car and drive 10 states away. You never know. Um, it could be fun. But if I was to do that, I've got an emergency backup plan. I've got it all set in place. I've got a bag in there. I've got supplies. I've got everything to get me home, to get me to safety, to get me home, even if I'm 10, 11 states away. I'm prepared for whatever can come up. So I think that's important. That get home bag, or your disaster bag, whatever you want to call it, having that in your car or your everyday carry. I have a bag that I carry every single day, all the time, and I keep important supplies in there, all my identification and stuff like that, a handgun, pepper spray. I've got pens, everything that I need, duct tape, anything that I could possibly need is in there in a small fashion. And so I've got that. I've got my bag in the car if I can get to that. Those things are just super important. You want to have a get home bag. And when I was young, I didn't even think of it. And now I'm like, oh, I can't believe I did all that crazy stuff. Another mistake that I have done and I have seen is you need a backup plan for your backup plan. It's just one of those, if you're planning on bugging in and then you have to bug out and you haven't planned for that, you're going to be in a horrible situation. Having plan A, plan B, and possibly plan C is not a bad idea, just to be prepared for each different kind of situation. Because if you only plan for one thing, you probably are not going to be ready for when this happens. So you never know. Having those extra plans, knowing that if this happens, we're going to do this. If this happens, we're going to do this. Having those other plans in place are really going to help you, just in case when something goes awry, you're going to be ready and you're going to know exactly what to do. Another thing is, don't assume that everything you buy is going to work. We all will buy flashlights, gadgets, different things, anything. Don't assume it's going to work. When you buy something, try it out. Make sure you know how to use it and make sure it works. I have bought things before and I thought, oh, great, I have it, I'm going to put it away. When I need it, it's going to be there. And then when I needed it, it was brand new in the box and it didn't work. That's no good. When you get it, open it, test it, make sure it works, and then put it away for that emergency. Don't automatically get something and just chuck it in your bug out bag or chuck it in your emergency supplies. Just because it's brand new doesn't mean it's going to work. Try it out. Definitely try it out. Because by the time the emergency happens, you can't return it. I've had that happen more than once. And lastly, just because you have guns and ammo doesn't mean you're safe. You really want to avoid confrontation. You don't want to be attracting people. When an emergency happens, you don't want to be flashing stuff around. You want to look and appear as destitute as everybody else is, and in the same situation. You don't want to attract them thinking that you've got something they don't have. So, just because you have it, and you don't want to have to shoot off 100 people. No one wants to have to do that, but I do think it's great to have it. You should absolutely have a way to protect yourself. Everyone should. I really do believe that. It's important that you can protect yourself, but I think it's also important to know when to stay back and not get in confrontations. Try to avoid that. And, you know, if things get crazy, you got to do what you got to do. But remember, a lot of other people out there have guns too, and they can shoot at you before you can ever grab a hold of your gun. So, you know, just because you have it doesn't mean you're completely safe. And, you know, practice, be safe, and do the best you can. That's all. So if you have any other tips or mistakes that you have made and you think might help somebody else, please leave them in the comments down below. We've all made mistakes. I'm sure of it. I can't be the only one. You know, I can't be. I don't think so. So if you have, you know, if you've got something that might help someone, leave it in the comments down below. I think it is great. The more we can help each other prepare, the more prepared we're all going to be. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.